What's up, everyone? My name is Bradley. This is Zach, and this is Dawson. And you're listening to the Charm City Sideline podcast. It's a very special night because this is basically our first episode of the 2024 season where we actually get to talk about real games. We recorded a couple times this summer, but in July and August, it's all about random headlines, contract issues, preseason games, figuring out who's going to be on the 53, all that good stuff. But now we get into the real part. So I'm going to let a few more people trickle in here before we get started. So Zach, we'll start with you, and then Dawson. How you guys been? How we feeling? Ready for this season to get underway, guys?
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling fantastic. It's the closest thing that I can think to Christmas, like the night before Christmas, even though we're still a few days away. But I mean, it's like next level right now. I'm feeling the hype of Thursday night being the opener. And this podcast is also going to be, I feel like, one of our favorites to do, just because we're going through the entire NFL and the Ravens, like just to talk about that and have fun. That's going to be a great time.
Yeah, dude, I'm freaking pumped. The season's about to be so exciting, and I mean, truly, this Ravens team this year is really, really a really good football club, and I don't see why we wouldn't have everything to take us to the promised land at the very end, man. And it's always like this right before the season. It's always so exciting because and especially, of course, we're opening up against the defending champs on Thursday night, so it's even, another heavy aspect of why it's so hype because we have a shot to go in and in their home turf just put them down, and it could be such a great start to the season, but no matter what, dude, I'm so pumped for the season. It's gonna be a good one for sure.
Me too. We're just 72 hours away from that Sunday night football theme song.
Ooh.
Getting ready for Ravens Chiefs. So first thing we're gonna do tonight, all three of us are gonna go through our Ravens game by game record prediction. So let's get right into it. We'll start with Dawson here. We're not going to talk too much about this game coming up because tomorrow we'll actually be previewing the game on YouTube. So Dawson, let's get, quick, and then Zach after quick Chiefs prediction for Thursday night.
Oh man, see, this is always gonna be hard because everyone's always gonna immediately call you biased. But I, honest to God, believe that the Ravens go in there and make a statement on Thursday night. This is a huge game, and I know this team hasn't forgot about the AFC Championship loss that we had. Unfortunately, that ended our magical season last year. And I truly do believe this Ravens team is better than this Chiefs team on paper. That doesn't mean anything until you go and put it down on the field. But I truly think we open up with a big statement win on Thursday night and kick off this 24 season on a high note.
Yeah, Dawson, I'm kind of the same way. I lean towards a win. It's such a freaking big game because of what happened in the championship. I can't wait to dive into it tomorrow with you guys. And shoot, I think we get it done somehow. It's gonna be a little revenge, but even though it might hurt, maybe come January or February, I mean, it could. It's gonna be intense.
So my issue with this is you can't have the Ravens go 17-0, and there's some losses you just have to give them, okay?
Oh, no.
What I'll say is basically if this was just a one-game thing, I'd be like Ravens are going to win. But it's just the fact that we have to predict 17 games, and I can't have the Ravens go 17-0 just because that's not how it works. I'm going to predict a loss. Some explanation, I would just say that we really struggled against them in January on the offensive side of the ball. And, we have a really young O-line that might take a little bit to gel. At the same time, would not be surprised at all if we win. Wouldn't be surprised if we win by 10. But I'm just going with a loss there because it's a long season and I can't predict the Ravens to go 16-1, 17-0. So, yeah, here we go. I see the vision. Lose to Chiefs week 1.
Yes, sir.
There you go. So, all right. So, week 2, first home game of the season. Raiders coming to town, 1 p.m. It'll be early morning game for them. Zach, what are we thinking?
I feel like we might all be leaning the same way with this, but I will go a W for the Ravens, for the good guys this one. I think we start out 2-0, and I feel like we kind of have in the past 2-0 and then drop the next 2 games. I feel like that's happened a few times in the last few years. But I think a tendency to go and at home beat a team like Vegas who isn't really competing for a playoff spot. They're kind of just in the back end. I feel like we get it done with them, especially it being season opener against a rough defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to go with this game, and I'm not going to get cocky or anything, but like, the Ravens are a significantly better team than the Raiders, and I think everyone can agree on that. And it's the home opener, dude, and win or loss in Kansas City, dude, they're not going into that home opener, and they're not going to throw a stinker out there with, a team that's expected to get, 6 or 7 wins or something like that. I just can't see it happening, and I think the Ravens come in and make a statement again, against a rather not great team.
Yeah, I agree with you guys there. This is that classic Ravens home opener. Feels like our home opener is always against not a great team. We played the Jets in 2022, Raiders in 2024. They're coming off a season where they ended up hiring Antonio Pierce, interim to full-time head coach. We'll see how that goes. But I don't know how talented their roster is compared to ours. And like you said, Banks going to be rocking. I think Ravens, in my book, get the first one of the season there, 1-1, 2-0 for you guys so far.
Who's their starting quarterback right now? Do we
It's
even know that?
Minshew.
Is it for sure?
Minshew the starter quarterback.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Minshew mania week 2. All right.
I mean, Devontae Adams will be tough. I know Zamir White is their starting running back. He's a bruiser.
Mm-hmm.
Max Crosby is really tough to deal with on the edge. So there's definitely capability there to get lost in the dust, but probably going to be a win there. And then week 3, one of the big perennial matchups of the season here, Ravens at Cowboys. We haven't played it at Dallas. I can't remember the last time we played at Dallas. That'll be a 4:25 p.m. game, Fox. That'll be Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady on the call for that one. So it'll be interesting to see Tom Brady announcing our game. Dawson, we'll start with you here. Cowboys, 4 p.m. Sunday, week 3. What are we thinking?
Dude, I'm pumped for this game because I am very high on the Cowboys this year, and I know the general consensus is not. I will say the Cowboys are a very good team, and I think they're going to do a lot of damage this year. However, again, I think this is a huge early season matchup, and I don't like exactly how it's in Dallas. I will say that, but I do think the Ravens are a better team, man. And I'm not sitting here going to pick them to be 17-0, so don't worry about that. But I do think this is another game that the Ravens can beat them, and I think they will improve to 3-0 early on with 2 huge games, especially on opposing turf. And I like the Ravens in this matchup. I think they have a great defense, and I think they match up against the Cowboys offense better than they probably should. They do have CeeDee Lamb, who's quite literally amazing. But I will say that I like our defense overall, being able to blanket him and kind of make sure he doesn't take the game over. And no offense to the Cowboys, but after CeeDee Lamb, I don't really see many big time threats. But I do like Jake Ferguson, though I will say that. But moral of the story is I think the Ravens go in there, handle business, and improve to 3-0 early on.
All right, guys. This is where I go against the grain. In Jerry World at Dallas. I see us dropping one. I don't know why. It just kind of came to me. I love CD. I love their defense. It is banged up. I guess Bland got hurt again, and he's going to be out the first few weeks, so he might miss us. But I like their odds. I feel like they're kind of a stupid pass-heavy team, and if CD gets going, then they're rolling. And I don't know. I feel like it just is a lapse week for us. Probably America's game that week. I think Brad has mentioned before that Brady's probably on that call. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a fun game. I just think we drop it. Yeah, I'm a big believer in him, just like Dawson is. I think Dak is going to be up there Dak, CD, and Micah. They're going to be in awards finalists, that type of stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. Not awesome that we're going to lose, but I see Devin commenting here, Flock. Appreciate you for being in here, Devin. I'm going to go with a win. You guys kind of covered it. I kind of agree with what Dawson said. CeeDee Lamb's tough. Maybe, I'd say second best receiver in the league behind Justin Jefferson right now. Tyreek Hill up there too. But like you said, after him, they really don't have much on the perimeter. Add in the fact that, Tony Pollard's gone. They got Zeke. They got Rico Dowdle, who's a solid player, but we haven't seen much from him yet.
Yeah.
Their O-line's not what it used to be. I think their defense is solid, but I think, another factor, I think Lamar always plays great inside. I don't know what it is, but in a dome, Lamar's just insane. And he hasn't gotten to
Yes.
play in a dome too often. But when he does, I think it's that turf, how quick he is. He's really hard to even get a hand on him on turf. So,
He
um,
also only has one career loss against NFC teams. So
exactly.
Yeah.
I
That's a
don't
good point
believe
to
in
bring up.
that weird stuff where, but it is what it is, man. He's like 17-1 or so, or like 23-1 against NFC
Yeah. I
opponents. So
thought
it's
it was
like,
more.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's that too.
Man, that was a bad loss to the Giants, wasn't it? In
Yeah. Daniel
2022.
Jones, that was horrific. I remember
Golly.
that game.
Oh man. So I got 3-1. No, 2-1. Dawson, you got 3-0. Zach 2-1, right?
2-1.
Cool, cool. So now we go to week 4. This is the game where we debut our purple helmets. So we'll be
Ooh.
in the so-called color
Ooh.
rush. I know they don't call it anymore that, but purple helmets, gold face mask, Bills, Sunday night football again. So we're getting a lot of Tarico and Collinsworth in September. But I'll start us off here. I'm
Whoa.
going with a win. I'm going
Oh,
with
okay.
a
I thought you
win.
were...
This is a rough beginning of the season in terms of who we're playing, man. It's a couple of hard games. I just think that at home against Buffalo, if this was in Buffalo, I might go L, but I just think at home against Buffalo, I feel like the Bills, I don't know. Losing Diggs might be better for them in the long run, but they got Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir coming up here, young receivers. I think it's going to be rough for them. I think it's going to be rough for Josh Allen this year. Not too many weapons to work with. I think the Ravens defense is going to be, coming after it all night with the new uniforms. I think there's going to be some energy in there. What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, I think with the new unis, Sunday Night Football, I think Lamar's record in primetime is just great as it is. I know I did say that we're going to beat the Chiefs earlier, and I think we're going to beat the Bills this time. I think at home against them, we kind of match up with them really well. I feel like everything that we have kind of just really pushes them over the edge. Um, I love our chances of our offense against their defense. I feel like they're always banged up. And even a week 4 game, I could see them maybe losing a key guy or two. So I'm giving us a win there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go again, a win. I think home field advantage is the deciding factor in this matchup. I'm gonna be honest. I just have a weird feeling. The bank is gonna be absolutely electric, dude, and I mean it's truly gonna be insane. That's a really hated opponent in Baltimore territory, so they're not going to be happy to see the Bills rolling up in there. And I think it's a win. I think the defense that we got over here in Baltimore is significantly better than the offense they got over there in Buffalo coming in. I mean, their number one receiver right now is the hopes of Keon Coleman becoming a solid rookie receiver. And I do think he's going to be a good receiver. However, I think our defense is way too deep at the secondary, respectively, to cover the Buffalo offense. And I think our defense is going to be absolute shutdown. And obviously our offense is good, and I think our offense will be able to put up points a lot more than Buffalo will be able to put up against our defense. And I'm going with the win. So I'm putting the Ravens at 4-0 going into the season.
4-0 for Dawson, the first month of the season.
4-0.
3-1 for me and Zach so far. Week 5, I believe, we're taking on the Bengals in Cincinnati. I think this is a 1 p.m. game. Dawson, you can start us off here.
Oh man, I gotta start. All right, here's where it goes, boys. First loss of the season in Cincinnati. It's always a split
No.
with Cincinnati. You know the divisional games are always tough. As much as I hate to say this, and I think we have a good shot of winning, I don't think it's gonna happen. I think our first loss goes down to Cincinnati in the Bengals territory. It's no matter what, it's gonna be a tough game. It's gonna be a shootout to the end, probably a low scoring game. Two great teams, and I think we split with them. So that's a preview of what's to come later when we have them at home, of course. But I think the first loss goes down in Cincinnati. It's gonna be a tough.
Boys, I'm really against the pick here, the popular pick of Bengals being good this year. I'm kind of just against it. I didn't see them improve too much in the offseason, and I'm not necessarily against Joe Burrow. I think he's amazing. I just think that Lamar with a healthy Ravens team beats the Bengals most of the time. I think his record says so. And I think we get this game done. Again, I'm not necessarily high on the Bengals. You're going to find that out later with the playoff picture and the AFC North standings. But yeah, I give us a win.
Cool. I could definitely see that where the Bengals have another rough season. I would say I believe in Joe Burrow too much. I think he's too good of a quarterback for that to happen. Granted, he stays healthy. So this Week 5 game, I'm full on board with Dawson here. I'm going to go with an L. Like he said, we're going to split with the Bengals. So that kind of gives away our pick against the Bengals later on Thursday Night Football. But I'm going to go with an L. I just think, we talk about the Ravens being good on primetime. This is that 1 p.m. game away, divisional game, first divisional game of the year. I think we could maybe start out rough. We've struggled with Chase and Higgins in the past. I think Mike McDonald gave Burrow a lot of problems the last 2 years, and I think Burrow's probably really relieved that he's gone. I have a lot of confidence in Zach Orr, as you guys as well. But Mike McDonald struggled when he first started as a defensive coordinator, and there's no guarantee that Zach Orr is going to be just insane off the bat. So I think we could struggle a little bit in this game here. I'm going to go with the L against the Bengals. So I got the Ravens at 3-2 through the first 5. It's booyah here, 17-0. Hey man,
Facts.
we're all hoping for that. So now we go into Week 6. Taking on the Commanders, rookie Jaden Daniels looked really, really good in the preseason. I believe this is a 1 p.m. game in Baltimore, just on the other side of the Beltway for the DC Commanders. New head coach Dan Quinn this season. Traded away to Jahan Dotson, so they kind of just got Terry McLaurin out on the outside now. Brought in Austin Eckler. What are we thinking, Zach?
Well, the Ravens tend to have a game like once a year where it feels like an opponent they're supposed to beat and beat pretty well, and then it just turns out to be this close game that's like, why is this happening? Like we're, us three are texting each other like, dude, come on, like why are we not scoring here? I'll drop pass, blah, 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 blah. I think we sneak out with this one. I give it a win, but I want to make sure that it's known that we're going to sneak by this team. I'm kind of confident in this Commanders team for some reason. Maybe it's Jaden Daniels or maybe it's Scary Terry because I'm big on him now, but man, I think they give us a little fight. But I do give us the win.
That's funny. I have one of those too, Zach, but it's not this one. I think the Commanders are a great team in the future. I think JD is that guy. I think they're going to be very happy with what they get from him as a franchise quarterback in the next, X amount of years, but not this time. I think the Ravens are a significantly better team. I think the defense is going to be way too much for a rookie to handle. And I think this is a big win by the Ravens. I think this is a big powerhouse win.
I agree. Me and Dawson are kind of on the same trajectory here because we had us losing to the Bengals. And I feel like we kind of, after a loss, we probably come back and beat the Commanders handily. But, Zach, I also agree with you. There's some games where we struggle against a bad team. I considered picking us as a loss here just because of the fact that, that those things happen. There's usually a game every year. Even the Chiefs will lose to a bad team every year.
Yeah.
It happens. But I'm going to go with a win. I'd say, Ravens win by 10, something like that. So let's real quick through 6 games. I got us at 4-2. What do you guys have?
I got 5-1.
5-1. 5-1. That's right.
5-1. Cool. So going into Week 7, third primetime game already in Week 7. This is going to be down in Tampa Bay, which we played down in Tampa Bay just 2 years ago. So we're heading back there. Lamar taking on Baker Mayfield. Monday Night Football. One of our 2 Monday Night Football games this season. I'm going to go with a win. I think this is, the Bucs were a good team last year. I think they might not be as good this season. I think this is sort of my game where I'm like, we might struggle a bit. Maybe they're up at halftime. Maybe they're up at the end of the third quarter. But I think we end up holding on or taking the lead at the end and winning this one. Probably a game that should end up being closer. That will be closer than it should be. But I think, Derrick Henry is going to be big down the stretch this season. And I think he's going to make a lot of plays in the fourth quarter for us. And I see this game being a game where, maybe Derrick Henry has a 22-yard run on 3rd and 4 in the fourth quarter, something like that, where we take it at the end. What do you think, Dawson?
Yeah, so this is the game that I just referenced to Zach. I think this is a game that's going to be a lot closer than it needs to be.
Oh, this is it.
I do have a win. I do have a win, and there's a slight possibility that I might be attending this game, but we'll get more into that later. But I do think this is a game that will be a lot closer than I think it should be. I think the Buccaneers are a much better team than people give them credit for. They're kind of in a weak division, and I don't know what it is, dude. And I think we can all agree every time we play Baker Mayfield, he seems to throw for like 900 yards and dot our defense up no matter what. They do it as a gunslinger. Let's be honest. I don't love him, but the dude is a gunslinger, and he knows how to pick defenses apart. And he's got a pretty good plethora of weapons in that Tampa Bay offense.
Oh,
For
yeah.
what it's worth. And I do think it's a win, but I don't think it's a big time win. I think it could come down to a last second field goal. I think it come down to an interception wins the game, something like that, a big time stop. I think this will be a close game, but I do have the Buccaneers getting beat by the Ravens on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, Monday Night Football is always fun. It's my favorite theme out of all of the primetime networks. It just gets me kind of juiced. I don't know what it is about it, but at Bucks, I think we get the job done. Mike Evans and company there are very fun to watch. I think it's a great game to have Ravens at Bucks on a primetime game. I feel like people would want to watch that. I feel like it could be high powered, like Dawson mentioned. Like I feel like Baker could freaking air it out against us. And then on the other hand, I feel like we could put their defense away pretty easily. So I give us the win, but it'll be a fun one. That's a circled one on my calendar.
I was muted. I was gonna say I love Monday Night Football too, but I don't know if I like Sunday night or Monday
Sunday
night
night's
more.
better.
Dawson like Sunday night more?
Sunday night's way better.
I think the Monday night theme song is better, but I think
Tripping, dude. Not to get off track,
Really?
but Sunday Night Football song's way better than Monday Night, dude. You
It's
guys are crazy.
iconic. I'll give you that.
I
there's
kinda
something
like
about
crazy,
Monday night
dude.
freaking.
No, it's awesome, but Sunday Night's better.
I think Sunday night games feel more impactful, whereas there's a lot of Monday night games that are bad matchups, I feel like.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
I think Sunday night football every weekend is almost always a good game. And I think that's kind of where that comes into play. Obviously, we're just completely excluding Thursday night right now because that's not much better than a 1 p.m. game on Sunday. So we're through 7 weeks now. Week 8, we go to Cleveland for the first game of the season against the Browns. They got a great roster.
I do.
And they had a great roster last year. They made the playoffs with Joe Flacco. I will just give it away now. I have a splitting against every team in the division. And I think, I'm going to give us a loss this game at Cleveland. I just think, their pass rush with Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith. I was looking at their defense the other day, and I was like, how do they have that many good players on that side of the ball? And just the fact that they know us well, we know them well. I mean, divisional games are always close. So I'm going to go L on this one. What do you think, Zach?
I am sadly the same way. I went with an L. I feel like the Browns nowadays are such a quiet sleeping giant. Like they're never really putting it together, but it's right there on paper, and they tend to steal one. I feel like last year with Deshaun Watson, he kind of pissed us off. He had that random great game and stole one from us, which he should not have, but it happened, and I feel like they're going to do it again. I feel like it's a great game for it, middle of the year, and they take it.
I guess it's a unanimous choice because I'm going with a loss as well.
Wow.
Really? Oh my god.
Cleveland, man, it's always a split series, dude, and it's always each team wins at home. It's crazy. Besides the year that Nick Chubb ran for like 500 yards in Baltimore, I'll never forget that. But it's always a juggernaut versus juggernaut, fight to the end with these divisional matchups. And I think we split with Cleveland, and each team wins at home, like I just said. They're a great team. Their quarterback's holding them back, however, but their defense is absolute lights out. And I pray for Lamar in that game, dude, because this offensive line is going to have the work cut out for them with that defensive front coming at us, dude. It's going to be tough. But yeah, I think it's a split series, and I think we drop this one.
That's interesting. All three of us going for the loss there. First game against the Browns. So we'll pause here real quick because we're halfway through the season, 8 weeks in. Obviously, with the 17-game season, there's no halfway point anymore, which can kind of suck sometimes. But just just to go through this here. So through 8 games, I have the Ravens at 5-3.
Oh,
What are you guys at? 6-2 each?
yes.
6-2.
Yeah. I'll say anyone in the chat, if they want to put their record in for the Ravens so far, I'll read them off real quick. It's at Chiefs versus Raiders, at Cowboys versus Bills, at Bengals versus Commanders, at Bucks, at Browns. What do you think we go in those first 8 games of the season? I got 5-3. Zach and Dawson got 6-2.
I think it's pretty unanimous choice. I think we're all expecting kind of like a 5 or 6 win
Yeah.
halfway point
I
start
could
to the
see-
season. Anything less than that would be pretty underwhelming. I'm not going to lie, because our schedule's not exactly like it's not easy by any means. I
No.
get that. But the Ravens are fully expected to be like a top 4 team in the NFL this year. And I mean, they do have a tough matchup to start, tough run to start the season, but I realistically think if we don't have at least 5 wins to start the first 8 games, that's going to be concerning. I think 5 or 6 is definitely the move.
What do you think, Zach? Any more thoughts there?
No, I would perfectly agree. C and D in here nailed it. I think 5-3 would be disappointing. I could see it happening. It's very realistic. It's just I don't think we drop many games early on unless it's really early on. Like I feel like we kind of get off to a slow start, but then everything starts. The gears start turning. Everything gets going. I feel like 6-2 is a good looking start to it. But I could see 5-3.
I agree with CNDN that 6-2 is very possible. I don't think 5-3 would be a disappointment when you kick off against the defending champions and then you play the Raiders, but then you go Cowboys, Bills, Bengals.
Yeah.
I think, and then you got a divisional game against the Browns later. Like I think 3 losses would be a success. I think 5-3.
5-3, I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah.
I would just be like, okay, I'm good. Like any less than 5-3 now, I would be a little concerned. 4-4, I'd be like, oh god. 5-3, I'd be okay.
Yeah, that'd be
6-2,
rough.
I'd be ecstatic.
6-2, I'd be ecstatic. 7-1 would be. I mean,
I don't even know what I'm doing.
if we had 7 or 8 wins through this stretch, I mean that would be insane. But
Yeah.
I
we're
think the first
predicting.
half is more difficult than the second half for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
let's jump into that though. The second half gets very interesting.
Yeah. So
Oh,
Devin
yeah.
says 6-2 losses against Cincy and Dallas. I could
fair.
agree with that. And then AP Productions, what's up, my guy? It's got us
Hey,
at
no,
8-0
baby.
8-0 through the first 8.
AP.
So
Hey, that's facts, dog. Big trust.
Hey, no.
good to see you here. Good to see you in here, AP. All right, you guys ready to get in the second half of the season here?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
All right, so after all 3 of us gave us a loss against the Browns, we take on the Broncos at home. I guess I'll go first here. Sean Payton, year 2 in Denver. Last year didn't go as planned with Russ. But they drafted Bo Nix, and he has probably been the best player in preseason this August. That doesn't mean too much when, Kenny Pickett was great in the preseason last year and then struggled throughout the season, but it's promising to draft a quarterback and have them look that great in the preseason. With that said, rookie quarterbacks do not do well against the Ravens. I think this will be a rough game for the Broncos considering we predicted us losing to the Browns. I mean, Harbaugh is always great after a loss. I think this might be one of those games that we win by 20, 24 points.
Ooh.
I got a big win against Denver at home.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not even going to explain much about this game. I think we just – I hate to be that guy, but I think we put an absolute beat down on Denver, and we put our sights on Cincinnati that following Thursday night, so it's a quick rebound. So hopefully it is a big-time win.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a big enough win where we can sit some guys in the fourth quarter because we have a short week, and we can get
You guys are thinking like a 24+ point blowout. Golly.
I'm sorry.
I think we
dude,
win.
Zach,
I agree.
Look at the Ravens and the Broncos on paper and tell me
Oh,
which
it's
team
bad.
is significantly better.
Zach,
That's
I think
Like
I
by
think
this
a lot
point,
of it-
their best players could be traded away. Like it's that level.
Yeah,
Possible.
dude.
And
it's in Baltimore. It would be
it would
different
be
if it was in
rough.
Denver, but in Baltimore,
I think a lot of
Yeah,
it is the
we're gonna
fact that we all predicted us coming off of a loss and how the Ravens always get after losses. But Zach, we'll let you get your prediction in here.
No, yeah, I think it's a win. I'm very surprised at Bo Nix. I think just at this point in the season, like I just said, some of these top players on their team might not even be there from now. I mean, it's gonna be a big win. I would agree with you, boys.
Hopefully
Awesome.
Cortland
So,
Sutton just rages and walks across the field and joins the dark
Yeah,
side.
just walks over here. Yes.
hey, that
I'm
might
gonna
be
join them instead, actually.
that might be a trade candidate. You never
Oh,
know.
dude.
At the
Send him to
deadline.
Baltimore, please.
Please.
Yeah. So I believe are we in November yet? I'm not sure.
Yes, November 7th against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Cool.
Thursday
So
night football.
Thursday night football, the
Oh,
All
I can't
Blacks.
wait.
I love how the Ravens advertised that this year. They let us know early that
Yeah.
we're wearing all purple against
Usually they let us know like 30 minutes before kickoff.
the So all black Bengals Thursday night football. Zach, you can start.
Man, I'm pumped.
I started it with this last Bengals matchup. I'm not high on them, guys. I think we sweep the series against them this year. I think we get another dub. I feel like their defense is just weak. I feel like whenever we talk about the Bengals, it's always Burrow and Jamar and all those guys. But they're going to have to really pick up the slack on the defensive side of the ball if they're going to make noise in the playoffs or even get there. I think we steal it. And again, I'm just not high on the Bengals.
Yeah, I think we take this game. Like I said, split series. They win at home. We win at home. This can be a huge game, especially on a short week. Though that is tough. Hopefully, our guys are healthy at the time. But the Ravens know how important this game is, especially if they lose one early on in Cincinnati. They can't get swept. You're getting into November, so these games are really starting to add up. And I think they know how much this game means, especially for the division standings. But I think Ravens make a statement at home. And I think our offense is the key in this game. I think our offense is gonna be lights out. And just hopefully Derrick Henry runs for like $150 on him. That'd be great. But I think we take this game. We split the series of the Bengals, and we move.
You know what's crazy is I still keep forgetting that Derrick Henry is on the Ravens. Like, I don't know why, but it just keeps leaving my mind. And
Yes.
every time one of you guys mention it or every time it pops back into my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, we have Derrick Henry. But yeah, I gotta win. I gotta win as well against the Bengals on Thursday night. I do agree with Zach. I mean, I got the Bengals having a good year, but I agree with Zach that their defense is not what it was the past couple of years. And I think especially their run defense could struggle this year. And after losing to them early on in the season, like I predicted, I think we'll come in there or they'll be in Baltimore, and I think we will have a good game against them. So moving on, we got the Steelers 1 p.m. game in Pittsburgh. Steelers had an interesting offseason. They brought in Russ. They brought in Justin Fields as well. They drafted offensive lineman out of Washington. They've actually been building up the O-line recently with some first-round draft picks. George Pickens is a menace on the outside. He's tough to cover. Ever since the beginning of time, I feel
Don't even. Listen, I'm just gonna interrupt you, Brad. This is the year, dude. This is the year. The Ravens are sweeping the Steelers. I'm not taking no BS anymore, dude. Every single year they have our number and somehow beat us in a 13-10 game,
Yeah,
which
what
has no necessary reason for being that. This is the year the Ravens handle business and don't drop some silly game against Pittsburgh, home or away. I am taking the Ravens all the way in this game. They're beating Pittsburgh, and they're going to shut up the Steelers crowd, dude. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of these losses every year that eventually catch up to us in the AFC playoff picture late in the season. Oh, if we would have won that game, we'd be first seed or second, but we were first seed last year. But you know what I mean. I'm sick of dropping these stupid games to Pittsburgh. It's not happening this year. The Ravens are sweeping the Steelers this year, and I'm going to stand on that.
Wow. I completely agree with you, Dawson. I'm sadly the same way. I think their daunted over 500 or whatever record of Mike Tomlin, is greatness of being there. I think that gets ruined this year. I think we win this game, but I just can't trust their quarterback room, their talent on all phases. I mean, it's good. It's not great. They made a lot of upgrades to show for it, and I think they could beat us once, but I'm predicting a win for this week.
Dawson, what you said about the silly little loss to the Steelers, I mean, that's just what I'm predicting. I think It's just a divisional matchup. Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh know each other really, really well. I think we split with them. I'm going to move on to the next game.
If we
Wow.
split this, all I'm gonna say is if we
I'm
split the
gonna move
Steelers
on.
this year, I'm gonna be very upset. That's a 9-win team. That's a 9-win team. We should beat them twice.
Have we beat them in the last 2 years once?
I don't know, but
I think
we're beating them this year. We are beating them this year twice.
I'm pretty sure the Steelers are 4-0 against the Ravens the last 2 years.
Wouldn't surprise me. We're beating them this year. Next.
Really?
Okay. Well, yeah, Zach, but also I think Lamar's only played in 2 of those, so,
Oh yeah.
The Steelers have gotten so lucky. I think they've played Lamar like 3 times in his career. This is year 7. I think they've played him like 3 or 4 times. Anyway, we'll stop talking about the Steelers. So that is through 11. What's your guys' how many losses you guys got through 11? I got 7-4 through 11. Dawson's got 9-2. Zach's got 9-2. Okay.
Listen, I'm trying to be unbiased as possible, guys. I promise. You know how hard this was to predict.
9-2 is possible.
Yeah.
I hate to be that guy. It's like, oh, of course 9-2, but give me a game that the Ravens legitimately should lose.
Listen, I would say 7-4 can be our.
Red's just the hater, I guess.
7-4 can be our floor. 9-2 can be our ceiling for that area. Anyway,
this next game though, I'm pumped.
This next game, maybe besides the Chiefs, is the most interesting game of the season.
Wow.
At Chargers, Monday Night Football. I think people are forgetting, this is Jim Harbaugh versus John Harbaugh. This is the first time they're playing against each other since the Super Bowl.
That's insane.
Excuse me. So there's going to be a lot of media coverage about that.
Oh yeah.
With that said, I'll let you win. I'll let Zach go first.
Again, it's Monday Night Football. That's my vibe. That's my jam. At Chargers, let's also think about, freaking Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins maybe coming back and playing.
How's it feel to be playing in that game?
That's what a game to talk about. Hopefully the Chargers are good at this point. I'm worried for them because of how much they've dropped off with Jim Harbaugh at the helm, but I feel like they have guys that can still get the job done that may surprise people, and I still give us a win. Come on, people! I mean, Monday Night Football. Ooh, that's the best.
Listen, dude, this is probably my boldest take on the schedule yet. I think this is a very comfortable win for the Ravens in this one. I think our defense against their offense, dude. I just think that's a matchup nightmare for them. I'm sorry. Justin Herbert's a fantastic quarterback. However, they have absolutely no weapons for him there. I just think the Ravens dominate this game. And it could be close, just because the whole storyline of it, it always seems to be that way. But I think this is a very comfortable win for the Ravens. I think they win by double digits with these. And I think we move on to a very tough next opponent after that. But I will say, Chargers game, I think is going to be a very fun game to watch just because all the history between the two teams. Of course, the two brothers, all the former players that have switched and stuff. And it's in LA too, so that's going to be kind of cool. But I think we do what we did last season and go into LA and take a win from the Chargers.
Yeah, I got a win against the Chargers as well. I don't know how good they can be this year. This is one of those situations – you kind of see this in college football a lot where a coach takes over, roster's not great. There's not much they can do in that first season. And I think that's, even though, it's not college football, it's the NFL, I think that's kind of what Jim Harbaugh found himself in with this. Obviously, you want to go to where you have a great quarterback, which they do in Justin Herbert. But, man, that receiver room doesn't have much. I know they drafted Ladd McConkey in the first round, or I think it was the first round. He was a great player at Georgia. So it'll be interesting to see if Herbert can get a connection with him. It's funny that they signed Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins. So it'll be interesting to see that dynamic with them running against the Ravens defense. But I got to win. Like Dawson said, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a big win. I wouldn't be surprised if we win by 1 point, just because of how well, when you got two brothers coaching each other. Anything
they
can
know.
happen.
Yeah, they know each other's tendencies. It's gonna be so much fun to watch them. Gosh.
That's gonna be a really fun game to watch.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be fun. Is this next game?
Introduce this next game, Dawson.
Then the Philadelphia Eagles come back in town, boys. We go across the country back home to our turf, and the Philadelphia Eagles come in, who I am extremely high on this season, as if everybody else isn't. And I think this is a loss. I think this is two juggernauts going tit for tat, and I think the Eagles. I mean, it's a long season. The Ravens' bye week is what week? It's like 14 or something, dude. I
Week
mean, it's after
14
this
is the
game.
bye.
Late.
Yeah.
Their bye
Yeah.
week's week 5, so at the same time, they're probably going to be very tired. But like, dude, the Ravens, they're all over the country traveling, dude. They got all these games, and you just, oh my God, it's gonna be a physical game, dude. And Eagles don't really got to travel far to come to Baltimore, but we got to go back across country. Um, I just think this is an unfortunate loss. I think it's going to be a shootout to the end, and I think the Eagles get the last move to take us over, and I think we drop that game and head into the bye week with a pretty good record, so it won't be heading or hold our head too low with that loss. But I do think it's a loss. I think the Eagles' offense is absolutely ridiculous, and our defense is too. But at the end of the day, dude, it's going to be the team that makes one more stop, and unfortunately, I think it could be Philadelphia in this case. But either way, I'm pumped for this game because I love both quarterbacks and both teams very much.
Dawson, I think it could be the team that makes one more stupid freaking tush push. I give the Eagles the win, sadly. We lose here. Eagles are loaded, man. I hate how good they are on paper. I think they're going to be great this season. Like you just said, that's a great point there. We're going to be traveling a lot at Steelers, at Chargers, and then a short week playing at home against Philadelphia sucks. So I think we probably lose. Maybe we're missing a few key guys, and we drop that game.
Yeah. Second game where we all predict a loss.
It's just hard, dude, because we have such a late bye week. We have a week 14 bye week.
Like we're
dude.
going to be tired.
Like, by the time we're suiting up to play the Eagles, dude, I hate to say it, but our injury report might be very lengthy, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like, theirs could too, but it's like, it's just a really tough game when you look at, the logistics of what we're gonna have to be facing at that point. So hopefully we get a win, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
I weirdly see this. I feel like it's going to be pouring rain this game. I keep envisioning that. I don't know why. It's a 4 p.m. game in Baltimore. It's going to be kind of cold. I feel like it's just going to be raining the whole game. It's going to be
really
bad.
dark, cloudy, rainy, just windy. It's with a game where Tucker misses like 2 field goals, and it's like, dude, what?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah. I think it's just going to be one of those weird games that it's raining, someone fumbles, whatever. And we're going to be really tired when it comes because with a week 14 bye. So we'll give you guys another chance here if you want to put any of your predictions in again. So we're at the bye, week 14. I have us at 8-5. Are you guys both at 10-3?
Yes.
Oh, that's 9-4. No, what am I saying? 9-3.
9-3. 10. I think you have it at 10-3.
Is 10-3?
10-3.
Yeah.
So
10-3.
Just to go back over for you guys in the chat: Chiefs, Raiders, Cowboys, Bills, Bengals, Commanders, Bucks, Browns, Broncos, Bengals, Steelers, Chargers, Eagles. I got 8-5. Zach and Dawson 10-3. So we go into the bye week 14, and I think it's a much needed bye, like we've talked about. And then we come out of the bye week 15. Sadly, have to go play on that turf up in MetLife. But we play at the Giants. Danny Dimes. Giants drafted a receiver, Malik Neighbors, who's looked very, very promising in the preseason and training camp. I will say, besides Malik Neighbors, they are not working with much. Coming out of the bye here, I'm going to go with a W against the Giants. What are we thinking, Dawson?
I'm not even going to say anything. I think it's a big time W. I think Ravens come out of the bye week shooting, and it's a big time win.
Yeah, I think the rest helps. At Giants sucks though. I mean, on that turf, gosh, that sucks. But I think a long time ago, I had a living nightmare of Odell running all over us, and I can say the same kind of thing with Neighbors here. I'm a big believer in him, and we're still going to get the job done off the bye. Hopefully we get some guys back from injury and we get the job done.
Yeah. So we all get a W against the Giants. Coming off a bye, Ravens are always really, really good. And then we come up here with two. They're technically not primetime games. I'm going to call it two primetime games in a row because we got Steelers on Saturday at 4:30. It's a standalone game in Baltimore in December. I predicted us to split against the Steelers, so this will be a W for me. I think this will be one of those games, I see the Steelers as a good at the beginning of the year team this year, and then they kind of reel towards the end, and they're not looking too hot. I think this might be another easy win against the Steelers on Saturday. What are we thinking, Zach?
I am the same way, my friend. Saturday gives the dub. I'm just not high on the Steelers. I'm not high on the Bengals. Somehow I'm high on the Browns. I don't really get it. But for this Steelers game, I think you nailed it, Brad. I think they're going to be kind of puttering out at the very end of the year, and we take one.
Yeah, I think this is a win. Like I said, I think we sweep the Steelers this year. Two big time wins to make a statement that it's still our division, not theirs. And I think it's a big time win. I think the Ravens roll.
Awesome. So now
Oof.
we go into our third game in 10 days
Oh,
at Houston
Gross.
on Christmas Day against the Texans, who we defeated in the divisional round last year. Texans come in signing Joe Mixon, signing Stephon Diggs. They already have Nico Collins, a great wide receiver, Tank Dell, a great wide receiver. That offense is going to be amazing this year.
loaded.
I'll start at Texans on Christmas. This game will be on Netflix for anyone that didn't know. I'm going with a W. I think we're going to beat the Texans. I just see the Texans as a team that I just feel I feel confident in the Ravens against the Texans. What we were able to do against them last year. Derrick Henry going against a former divisional opponent. He knows them well. And the Ravens took down the 49ers on Christmas last year. I see us as a great Christmas team. I wonder if, the Ravens will start playing on Christmas every year. They've done 2 years in a row. That'll be interesting. But I got to win against the Texans. Dawson.
Man, this is a brutal game, dude. We have so many games in such a short time frame. I think this is a loss, boys. I think going into Houston, I'm not going to spoil anything for what I'm about to say later in this video, but I am extremely high on the Texans this year, dude. I am very high on the Texans. I think they are going to. I'm not going to say anything, but I really think the Texans are going to be lights out this year. And I think this is just going to be a game where the Ravens. I don't want to say we get smoked by any means, but I think we get a little outpowered in this matchup, boys, and we lose quite fairly.
Wow.
And I hate to say that. I hate to say it. It sucks, man. But I mean, it's going to happen eventually, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, definitely at some point. I do have it as a loss on Christmas on Netflix. That's going to be fun. But yeah, I think this high-powered Texans team comes in, or we go there and get smoked. I think it's what we usually point to, where we play one team and then see them again in the playoffs. I feel like we're going to see them again in the playoffs, and we'll get the job done then, but not this week. I think we lose at Texans.
Yeah. I think the 3 games in 10 days is really, really tough, but what I will say is all 4 teams playing on Christmas also have 3 games in 10 days. It's not just like a Ravens thing. So I think that'll factor in, like everyone playing on Christmas is going to be tired. And also I think we almost have an advantage there with the bye just 2 weeks prior, 3 weeks prior. So, yeah. But I agree. I see your guys' point with possibly losing that game there. So now we go into week 18, last game of the year versus the Browns. All 3 of us picked a loss against the Browns. And the first time we meet them, I'm going to go with a win here. I just think, at least with my prediction, I think it'll be a position where we got to win to win the division, maybe win to get a 2 seed, possible 1 seed, who knows. But I got us, closing out the season with a win against the Browns. I think this will be a big implication. I think the Browns are going to be trying to make moves with seeding as well. I'm pretty high on them this year. What do you think, Zach?
I would agree. I think we split the series with them and we win this one to end the year. If we look at it for my total playoff picture, this would have implications of us getting one of the higher seeds. So I think we're fully invested in this and we win this game. I I think the Browns are scary, but we split with them.
Zach quite literally just took the words out of my mouth. I think our starters will be playing in this games. I think we'll be fighting for the 1 seed, 2 seed, whatever it may be. And you'll see that more in a second. But I think Browns are going to be playing for everything in this game. And I think, us being at home, we know we're going to play spoiler, but we're also going to be playing for something. And I think Ravens come out and win. Like I said, split series against Cleveland. Each team wins at home. We lose the first game in Cleveland, but I think we win this game in Baltimore. And we close out our season on a good win against a much hated team.
Awesome. So to go over everything, I got Ravens finishing 12-5. You guys both have 13-4. Is that correct?
13-4.
Cool. So
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
we're in the same vicinity. I just had one more loss than you guys. That one being
Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City.
There it is.
Hey man, we're gonna win. I'll say it right now, we're gonna beat the Chiefs. Anyway,
Whoa.
yeah, I'm just playing.
I'm gonna change it up like that, dude.
Anyway, if anyone wants to put their record prediction in the chat right now,
Real quick, let's drop our predictions for the overall AFC playoff picture, 1 through 7 seeds.
Well, first, let's do AFC North. Let's do AFC North first.
I like that.
And then we'll get into the playoff picture. Okay, so we'll do first place, second place, third place, fourth place. How does that sound? Or do you want to do team by team?
Should we go up? Should we go like 4-1?
Yeah.
I feel like we're all going to pick the Ravens.
Yeah.
But we can still go up.
Okay, fourth place in the AFC North. Greg Jones has the Ravens going.
Greg, 9-8. Come on.
Oh,
Greg.
hold on, bro.
Greg,
what
man.
the
Crap, man. Maybe Lamar's like injured in this world.
Hey, but what you guys don't know is Greg has us winning the Super Bowl. That's what Greg has. Greg has us making it as a 7 seed.
Attaboy,
and
Greg.
winning the Super Bowl.
God,
let's go, Greg. Attaboy. Super Bowl champs.
That's valid.
Hey, I like it. Though. I like it. Giving us a variety of opinions.
If we go 9-8, I might.
I know it's kind of that just hit me like
a fourth place in the AFC North, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
What
9-8?
Are we all Steelers?
9-8. Zach, what do you have the Steelers going?
I have them ending this coveted 5 or over 500 record crap at 7-10.
I have the Steelers at 6-11.
Woo,
dude. Mike Tomlin is never going to have a losing season, man. He'll make it work for going 9-8.
He hasn't, but
that's a good pick, though.
It's going to happen at some point.
We just have to think it happens. Yeah. If it's going to happen, I think it's this year.
If their quarterback, who's their quarterback last year?
Exactly.
They have better quarterbacks this year. They're going 9-8.
Ricky Adams, I would lose my if
Ricky.
we went 9-8.
But in Greg's world, where we also win the Super Bowl, so I mean that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Greg's got us winning the Super Bowl.
That's all right. We're fine.
Third place in the AFC North, I have the Cleveland Browns finishing 10-7.
Same record, same spot for me. What you got, Zach?
I have the same record, but a different team. I have the Cincinnati Bengals 10-7 at 3.
I see that I see the possibility of the Bengals struggling this year again. I see it. But I think the Browns are gonna get in there 10-7. Honestly, I could see. Yes, second place. Oh, Hunter 13-4. There we go, Hunter.
That's
Hunter.
valid.
Okay. Bengals second place. Do we all agree? Oh no, Zach.
No, I do not agree. I have the Browns with the same record, 10-7.
Okay.
And this is a spoiler for the playoff picture. It gets them into the playoff picture with this. So give them 10-7.
I got the Bengals finishing second at 11-6. 11-6, I think, is a very good record for the Bengals.
Yeah, I got Bengals at 11-6. I think they're gonna have a good year. I think Chase is gonna end up playing. I think
for sure.
T. Higgins. They've
and then, of
got
course,
an agreement there with the tag and everything. We talked about their defense possibly not being as good as it was, but it's Joe Burrow. He's a top 5 quarterback. Can't count those guys out. He's a good player.
And then, of course, the 2024-25 Super Bowl champion, 13-4 Baltimore Ravens.
Whoa!
Win the North. 13-4 record.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
13-4. Yeah, I think we got them. Win the division.
And then I got the Ravens.
That might have been a spoiler. For
a bit of a spoiler.
Super Bowl pick.
Yeah, I hope it's a spoiler.
Hey, we'll get to it.
I got the Ravens winning the division at 12-5. I think that'll be good enough to win the division. Like I said, Bengals 11-6. So AFC North, I got Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Steelers. Dawson agrees. Zach has Ravens, Browns, Bengals, Steelers. So we're now going to move into. Oh, and also if anyone wants to drop their AFC North prediction in the chat, feel free.
Heck yeah.
But now we're going to get into the AFC playoff picture. You guys want to do the same thing where we go 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Dawson, who's your 7 seed in the AFC?
The Bills at 10-7. I know a lot of people are not high on the Bills this year, but at the end of the day, they have Josh Allen, and he makes stuff work. They got a pretty good defense. I think they sneak in at 10-7 in a really tough division this year.
You got it 7, Zach.
7. I do have the Bills going 10-7, but I have them barely missing out on the playoffs because the Browns sneak in here at 7, going 10-7. Little sleeper pick there.
I'm right there with Zach. I got the Bills missing the playoffs at 9-8. I looked at the Bills' schedule the other day. It's tough, man. That's a tough schedule. If anyone wants to go ahead and go over in there and look at it. And they've had a couple, they've lost a couple players over the years this past offseason. I think they could have a rough year. Like I said, I won't be surprised if they make the playoffs either. But I got the Browns at 10-7 for that last wild card spot. Going into the number 6 seed in the AFC, maybe a surprise to some, not to others. I got the Colts finishing 10-7 as the 6th seed. I think last year Shane Steichen put on a masterclass with Gardner Minshew. I think what some people are forgetting is in that last game of the season, the Colts lost on a bad throw / kind of a drop to the Texans to win the division with a backup quarterback. So I think the Colts are going to have a good year. I think Anthony Richardson will struggle at times. He's basically a rookie quarterback. But, with Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor in that backfield, with me, one of the best play callers in the league, I think they're going to sneak in. I think they're going to go 10-7 and have a really, really good year. What do we think as the 6th seed, Dawson?
See, I'm also high on the Colts. I think long-term, they're in the right spot, not this year. Number 6 is going to be the Dolphins sneaking in alongside their AFC's pals and the Bills at an 11-6 record. I think the Dolphins are a pretty solid team. I do think they take a little bit of a step back this season, but I think they sneak in 11-6 and get the 6th seed.
For my 6, I'm going with a not really talked about team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, 10-7, making it. I think they have enough offensive firepower where they're staying healthy and they can get in and try and make some noise.
Cool. I have the Jags missing the playoffs, but there's so many teams in the AFC that are like that 9-8, 10-7 range that I feel like that hunt is going to be crazy at the end of the year. So last wild card team, I think this will be the same for me and Dawson, maybe Zach too, but I got the Bengals at 11-6 for the 5 seed. What do you guys got?
5 seed, I have the Bengals at 11-6 too.
The 5 seed, I have the Aaron Rodgers led New York Jets, 11-6. I'm high on them. I like what their team was before Rodgers got injured. But now since he's healthy and back, I got high hopes for him. I'm a big Rodgers fan, and I see them taking that 5 seed.
Interesting. So we're done with the wild card. Now we will go through our divisional rankings. That is not the AFC North. My lowest division winner, this is a struggle for me, but I think the winner of the AFC East is going to be the Jets.
Yeah.
Ooh, crap.
I like the Dolphins, but I just think with them, they struggle when it gets to November, December. They start hot every year, but then they struggle. The Jets were a tire fire last year, but Aaron Rodgers healthy this offseason. Breece Hall, maybe the fantasy RB1 this year. You never know.
Fire, Brad. That was a great reference. I've never heard that one.
Wow.
Thank you.
That took me like 5 seconds to get, by the way.
Breece Hall, maybe the fantasy RB1. Who knows? Garrett Wilson, and I think everyone's forgotten they have Mike Williams. I don't know if anyone even knows that the Jets have Mike Williams, but they do.
Yeah.
I think they're going to win that division. 4 seed Jets,
Wow.
11-6.
Yeah, you can skip right over me because you said exactly, and we agree on the exact same thing. 11-6, Jets win the AFC East, and they get in as a 4th seed.
Cool.
Wow. So my 4th seed, the winner of the AFC East, is the Miami Dolphins, 12-5. I'm just high on them. I think this could be a big year for Tua and company. They were just not healthy last year, and I see them kind of getting a little luckier with that stuff and getting there this time.
Cool. So Zach's got the Dolphins winning that division. Me and Dawson have the Jets winning that division. So 3 seed AFC. Dawson, who's your 3 seed?
I got the Houston Texans, man. 12-5. They're going to be an absolute work of art this season, and they're going to be a fantastic team. If it wasn't for the Ravens and Chiefs being who they're going to be, I think Texans would be right up there with them. But I think Texans are going to be really good, 12-5, and they're going to win that their AFC South division pretty comfortable.
I am the same way. The number 3 seed goes to the Texans, 12-5, just like you said, Dawson. I'm high on them. What I was saying earlier about playoff implications, me having the Ravens at 13-4 and the Texans at 12-5, we have to win that last week game to, spoiler alert, get a pretty high seed. It means a lot, but I think the Texans are also a dangerous team. It'll be a fun team to watch in the playoffs.
Same as you guys, Texans. I get them at 12-5. I think they're going to have a great year. Okay, so we both have 1 and 2 left in the AFC. We both have, I'm assuming you guys have the Chiefs making the playoffs. So you guys are going to hate on me. I got the Ravens in the 2 seed. Who you guys got?
I can't hate on you, man. I really can't. These are the 2 best teams in the NFL. 2 seed, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they're 13-4. I think both these teams have the same record towards the end of the season. I think this week 1 matchup is the deciding factor with who gets 1 seed, which is crazy to think about. Within 3 days, it basically decides our 1st seed or 2nd seed placement.
Yeah.
Potentially. I think Chiefs 13-4, 2nd seed.
Gosh dang it, Dawson, we're the freaking same, dude. Chiefs 13-4.
That's a good thing, though.
It is a good thing. It is. And I see that week 1 game being the tiebreaker and giving the Ravens the number 1. Gosh, I hate thinking about the Chiefs because it makes me all like sad about, oh yeah, they're probably gonna beat us if it comes to playoff time. Like it's gonna take a lot just from everyone to still overcome them, even if they are the 2 and not the 1. So, Chiefs taking the 2 seed.
It's assumed you guys have Ravens at the 1 seed at 13-4. I have the Chiefs at the 1 seed at 13-4. So all 3 of us agree that first game of the season
really
is possibly for the 1 seed. So
that's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
It is. That's pretty crazy. So there's our playoff picture, guys. We can go over each of our individual ones again. So I got 1 seed Chiefs, 2 seed Ravens, 3 seed Texans, 4 seed Jets, and then my wild card teams are the Bengals, Colts, and Browns. Zach, you can go over yours again, and then Dawson.
I've got the number 1 is the Ravens, the number 2 the Chiefs, number 3 Texans, Dolphins at number 4, and then my wild cards are the Jets, Jaguars, and Cleveland Browns.
Yes, at 1 and 2 respectively. I got the Ravens and Chiefs at 13-4, and then I got the Texans, Jets, and then wild card I got the Bengals, Dolphins, and the Bills.
Man, just a brief thought right here. I wish it was still 1 and 2 seed with the bye. I feel like that 2 seed still deserves a bye.
Right?
And
yes, dude. That was a pretty cool format. I liked it.
I did have a take for a while that the 7 seed shouldn't be in the playoffs anyway, but I think the Packers were the 7 seed last year and they won a playoff game. So I got to take back that opinion now. We won't spend too much time on this, but NFC playoff picture, we'll go wild card teams and then division winners. So my wild card teams in the NFC, I got the Bears making it at 7. I think Caleb Williams is going to have a good year. I think they got a great roster surrounding him. I got the Bears getting in there at 7. Then I got the Rams at 6 getting in there, 10-7 as well, just like the Bears. I think Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, Kyron Williams, that offense is great. Defense might take a hit without Aaron Donald, but I got the Rams at 10-7. 5 seed, I think the Packers are going to have a great year. I think they're going to go 11-6. I think the Lions might be too much for them. But I got Packers at 11-6. So my NFC wild card is Packers, Rams, Bears. What we got? Dawson in the NFC wild card.
I got finishing all 7. The Mike McDonald led Seattle Seahawks. They get in at
Ooh.
10-7. I think he's going to change that team. I think this year's a big start to it. I think 10-7 they sneak in right up above them. I think the Packers are going to have a great year. I'm all aboard the Jordan Love hype train. I hope for my fantasy teams that's true. Packers get in at 11-6. And then I got the Cowboys at 11-6 as well at the 5th seed. I'm very high on them, but at the same time, it's the Cowboys and they lose a lot of games they shouldn't. So I think they go 11-6. So I got the Cowboys and Packers at 11-6 with the Seattle Seahawks getting in at 7 with a 10-7 record.
My wild card starts with the Dallas Cowboys at 10-7, and I go Seahawks. I see Mr. Mike McDonald with a good starting season, 10-7, and then I have the Packers at the 5 with 11-6.
So I assume you guys don't have the Bears winning the division, so I'm the only one with them in the playoffs.
Yeah, correct. They're not going to playoffs.
I think they're going to be
They're
good.
not. Brad, you're insane. They're not going to playoffs.
It's okay to be high on them.
Bears
I
are
thought
gonna
they're
be
going to be in the
10-7.
mix.
Hey,
2 years they'll make it. This year they're not.
You know a stat that I've seen is that every year 14 teams make the playoffs. 5, 6, or 7 are new teams every single year, which is insane.
Yeah.
But like, you got to pick some teams that you literally don't personally think are going to make it if you want to try to be right. So that's kind of my thought process there. You guys both have Seahawks, so that's
fair.
pretty cool. So division winners, AFC or not AFC, NFC South. I'm assuming we all have the Falcons here.
Yes.
Yeah, I got them at
They're good
11-6 in the 4 seed. What do you guys have them at?
I got 10-7.
10-7.
Cool. I think they're going to have a good year, and I think it's easy to have a good record when you play twice against the Saints, twice against the Panthers, twice against the Bucks, who are probably going to be a little better than the other two. But Kirk Cousins, man. Kirk Cousins, Drake London.
He's legit.
Bijan Robinson. Raheem Morris over there is the new head coach. Brought over
Drake
Zach.
London, Kyle Pitts, dude.
Know,
Justin
that's
Simmons.
That's a great team. So Falcons 4 seed for all of us?
Yes.
Cool. 3 seed. I'm having them taking a little bit of a step back this year with the San Francisco 49ers going 11-6. I think Purdy might struggle a little bit in that second year. But they're still going to be good enough to win their division. They'll get a home playoff game. I got the 49ers at 11-6 in the 3 seed. Dawson.
3 seed, I got the good old hometown Detroit Lions. Even though it's the Tigers, of course. I don't know why I did that. That was kind of weird. Yeah, I got the Detroit Lions at 11-6. Man, they're a really good team, and they're going to make a lot of noise this year. They're not going to win as many games as they did last year. I think they won like 12, I think, last year. But they're going to be a great team. They'll get in as a 3 seed, and watch out, NFC. I'm sorry. Watch out.
I think the Detroit Lions coming in here at the 3, but I have them actually winning one more game. I have them at 13-4. I saw something where the Lions play in a dome for like
I saw that too.
But
it's like 14 games or something like that.
Like,
they're in a dome.
Jared Goff's gonna be having a heyday, and I think he's gonna have a great year. 13-4 for him.
Hey Lucas, we gotta go Lions from Lucas here. All right. 2 seed in my NFC. I won't talk about them too much because you guys just did. Dawson's having a laugh over there, but I got Lions 2 seed, 12-5. Who's your guys' 2 seed?
2 seed, I got the Philadelphia Eagles, bro. 12-5. They're gonna be a fantastic team this year. If they stay healthy, there's no reason they don't win 12 games at least. Eagles 12-5, 2 seed.
I have the Eagles finishing strong, but it's not good enough to get the 1 seed. Eagles 14-3 at the 2 seed.
2?
At the 2.
Wow. Okay. Number 1 seed in the NFC. This is not a popular opinion. I feel like we are high on them, but I got the Eagles 14-3, 1 seed in the NFC. I think they're going to have a great year. They have a new OC, Kellen Moore, I believe. I think that's going to be good for Jalen Hurts to get back on track. Saquon Barkley in the fold, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Maybe not the best receiving duo in the league, but it's up there. It's maybe top 3. I got Eagles 14-3, number 1 seed in the NFC.
I got the San Francisco 49ers, man. They're not taking a step back. They're gonna just be a juggernaut like they always are. And 13-4. They're just too good of a team.
Took it right out of my mouth, but I'm at 14-3, winning a tiebreaker over the Eagles.
Awesome. So my NFC playoff picture, just to review: Eagles, Lions, Niners, Falcons, division winners. Wild card: Packers, Rams, Bears.
Yeah, I got the 49ers, Eagles, Lions, Falcons, and then the Cowboys, Packers, and Seahawks as the wild card.
I picked the exact same 7 as Dawson, but in different order for the wild card. So Packers, Seahawks, Cowboys.
Yeah.
Cool. So we all got the Packers having a solid season. Now, before we get into our season award predictions, we're not going to go ahead and predict the whole playoffs because that would take too long. But we're all going to give our Super Bowl winning team and losing team.
Crap.
Zach, you want to go first?
Okay, I feel pretty good about this, so I'm going to throw it out there. I have the Philadelphia Eagles playing the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl, and our Baltimore Ravens getting it done.
Yeah, that's what I like to see. All right, here we go, boys. I got the Baltimore Ravens winning the Super Bowl this year and taking down the good old Detroit Lions.
Oh, Detroit!
I think I'm gonna be public enemy number 1 around here, and I think the Ravens take down the Lions in a really, really fun Super Bowl. I think it's gonna be a very entertaining one too.
Okay, so I saw someone in the chat, CNDN. It's got the same prediction as me. I got the Ravens defeating the Packers in the Super Bowl. I'm high on the Packers. I think Jordan Love had a great second half to the season last year. I got them as a wild card team. But listen, they beat the Cowboys last year, and they should have beat the Niners in that divisional game. They should have won that game. Yeah. I think they're going to do it this year. I think they're going to make the Super Bowl. I got the Ravens defeating them in the Super Bowl. So
that would be a fun Super Bowl. That would be very
it'd
fun.
Be
I would
cool.
love that.
Oh, yeah.
So
see, like we just need 2 new teams in the Super Bowl, dude.
Yeah.
Every year it's been like the Chiefs, it's like 49ers. Like we're Ravens fans, but of course, like, dude, the general public would love to see Baltimore in the Super Bowl. I feel like because it's not the Chiefs, like and Ravens, Packers, Ravens, Lions, Ravens, Eagles, like those would all be fantastic Super Bowls, and they would get great ratings.
Cool.
It's new blood.
I agree. So I got Ravens over Packers. Dawson's got Ravens over the Lions. Zach's got Ravens over Eagles, right?
Yep.
Cool. So that's our Super Bowl prediction. We'll go with our last 2 segments tonight will be our season awards for the NFL, and then we'll do our season awards for the Ravens. So we'll do it pick by pick. MVP. I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes. I think if we're going with a prediction here, it's like I just feel like he's going to end up winning it because I have the Chiefs going 13-4. I think they're going to have a great regular season, and I do think there's some voter fatigue where I think it's possible that Lamar and Mahomes could be the 2 best quarterbacks this year, and neither of them will win MVP just because of voter fatigue. I think that's possible, but I got Mahomes winning MVP. Who do you got, Zach?
I have Mr. Irrelevant himself, Brock Purdy, taking it. I think his stats are going to be undeniable. And sadly, if they're going to finish the top of the NFC and he's going to have the stats for it, whether it's from the weapons he has or not, I still think he takes the MVP.
Zach, real quick,
Dawson.
I just wanted to know from Zach, do you think he should actually win that MVP, or is that just your prediction? Like, what's your take on that?
It's just when I've seen how close he was last year, and he didn't really have the greatest stats. I feel like there's still room for improvement there. I think he takes it just because they're going to be the 1 seed in my world, and their team is just phenomenal.
That's going to be a Super Bowl right there, boys.
Go Chelsea.
That's going to happen. Or wait, I don't know how to point. That one right there. That's going to be it.
Yeah.
But, dude, I think MVP this year, I hinted it to earlier in the video. I think CJ Stroud wins MVP, boys. I think second year CJ Stroud just goes absolute mayhem and takes over the NFL.
Wow.
And anytime you add a guy like Stephon Diggs to an offense that already has two great wideouts in Tank Dell and Nico Collins, and then a good tight end in Dalton Schultz, and then you add Joe Mixon, CJ Stroud's already good. And like, just I'm telling you, dude, the Texans this year, man, are going to be no joke. And I think CJ Stroud wins it in year two and really, really welcomes himself into the NFL.
Cool. So MVP, I got Mahomes. Zach has Brock Purdy, Dawson with CJ Stroud. Offensive player of the year, maybe a little more interesting of a pick here. I said this earlier in the episode. I got Breece Hall. I think he's going to overtake McCaffrey as the best running back in the league this year. I know it's just fantasy numbers, but you can equate fantasy numbers to running backs. He was the RB4 in fantasy last year off of a torn ACL without Aaron Rodgers in a bad situation. I think he's going to be insane this year. Breece Hall is my offensive player of the year. What you got, Zach?
My offensive player of the year is Dallas's CeeDee Lamb. I think he's just going to put up ridiculous numbers this year as the number one. Speaks for itself.
I agree. CeeDee Lamb's going to be amazing. He could damn near get 2,000 yards this year. I mean, he's the only weapon in Dallas, and I think there's no question about it, dude. He's going to get all the targets. He's going to pick up off what he did last year. He just got paid, so nothing's in his way, and he's going to be lights out.
I agree. CeeDee Lamb's definitely possible as the MVP, like you guys said. 2,000 yards, maybe. We got another Lions and Ravens Super Bowl prediction. Popular opinion here.
Wow. I was close to being the Lions. I won't lie. I was pretty close.
It's happening, boys. I told you.
So offensive player of the year, I got Breece Hall. Zach and Dawson both have CeeDee Lamb. Very, very possible. Defensive player of the year, probably a more boring prediction, I think, if you're actually trying to go with who you think will win it. I got TJ Watt. Who do you guys have?
I got another Dallas prodigy in Micah Parsons. Wow. I think the do-it-all Micah Parsons wins Defensive Player of the Year. The dude is absolutely unreal at football, dude, and he deserves all the credit. And that comment's terrible. Drake May going to go crazy this year. That's wild.
That's bold.
I think Micah Parsons does it all this year. I think the dude puts up probably 15-plus sacks with these and just is all around the place. He's like Kyle Hamilton, just a little different. And I think he's Defensive Player of the Year.
I have Myles Garrett taking it back-to-back years for the first time since Aaron Donald. I think he's on that level, and he's going to solidify himself in those names.
Cool. So we actually all do have three different players for Defensive Player of the Year. Granted, one of those three will probably win it, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out by the end of the year. Offensive Rookie of the Year. I feel like you kind of got two options here. Zach is going to have a surprise.
Yes, sir.
I got Marvin Harrison Jr. I think, I got the Bears making the playoffs. I think Caleb Williams is going to have a good year. I just think that Marvin Harrison is going to have a Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson type of rookie season. Maybe he breaks the rookie season receiving yards record. Definitely possible. I got Marvin Harrison. I think he's one of the best receiving prospects we've seen in our 22 years on Earth. Marvin Harrison for me. What you got, Dawson?
Brad's going to be happy about this one. I think it's going to be the quarterback that is single-handedly stepping into the best possible situation you've ever been given as a number one overall pick in Caleb Williams. I mean, the dude is literally stepping into an offense right now with DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and then you got Cole Kmet, you got DeAndre Swift, you got a pretty decent line.
Ramo Dunze as well.
Stepping into a juggernaut offense, essentially, and you never see number one overall quarterbacks get treated to such. And I think he takes it away this year. I don't think any offensive rookie puts even close to what Caleb Williams is about to do in Chicago.
All right, Zach, who's your surprise offensive rookie?
Wait. If I had to put money where my mouth is, I'm picking Caleb Williams. Okay. But I like being bold with this. Offensive rookie of the year goes to the Chargers wide receiver, Ladd McConkey, taking it. I think he's going to have a year where we see a little Puka-esque because he's the only guy there. So I see Herbert just slinging that ball and him taking the offensive rookie of the year.
For a second, I thought Zach was going to say a Ravens player. I was like, is he about to say like Rasheed
Walker?
No, dude. The rookie of the year. It seemed like you were about to say something crazy. I mean, Ladd McConkey.
Not that crazy. Not that
Ladd McConkey's. I don't know about high probability, but it
I mean,
could
he's
happen.
literally the only receiver that
I like
have.
going bold with him. Yeah.
He could have a good year.
I mean, he's literally the only receiver they have, dude.
Yeah. All right. Defensive rookie of the year. I'm gonna go first here just because you guys. I don't know if you have the same opinion as me, but I'm gonna go with Nate Wiggins, man. Nate
Whoa.
Wiggins, defensive
Hold up.
rookie of the year.
All right.
We saw how
All
good he
right.
looked in the preseason. I think he is. I don't know if he's gonna be playing a ton right when the season starts with Stevens and Humphrey, but I think he's gonna find his way onto the field. I think he's gonna make a lot of plays, make a few. Have a few interceptions. I got Nate Wiggins. This is kind of similar to Zach. If I'd put my money on it, maybe I'm not putting Nate Wiggins, but I thought it would be fun to say.
Yes.
This is a tricky question, but all these hometown Lions fans that if you're watching, you're gonna like this pick. I'm taking Terrion Arnold with the Detroit Lions as defensive rookie of the year. I think the dude's gonna be an absolute shutdown corner in the NFL. He was in Alabama, and he was a fantastic pick. They got him as such a good pick. And I think Terrion Arnold takes it. But I will say Nate Wiggins is also that dude as well, and I think they're both gonna have very similar careers. But like Brad said, I don't think Nate Wiggins plays a ton this year as much as Terrion Arnold's going to play. And I think Terrion Arnold's going to take it away.
Yeah, Ricky had Nate Wiggins as well. So I just wanted to put that out there. What you got, Zach?
I have a different Alabama product. Dallas Turner of the Vikings taking it.
Mhm.
I just think they, they're good, honestly, with different DNs, and I think he fits the bill, and he's going to provide some big numbers for him.
Cool. So there's our season award predictions. Final segment of the night. Raven season awards. Figured this would be cool to put last. I decided for us to skip MVP because it would just be Lamar. There's kind of no point of talking about it. So I figured we'd just do offensive, defensive, all that good stuff. Offensive player of the year. This is kind of an interesting topic. I think there's a lot of guys it could be. Zach, I'll let you go first.
I have the newly acquired Derrick Henry, King Henry himself, taking the offensive player of the year. I really struggled between him and Zay. I think that might be our two picks for all of us, but I think he's going to lead us to the promised land this year. It was the missing piece last year, and I think King Henry's our offensive player of the year.
I agree with Zach 100%. I think Derrick Henry runs away with it quite literally. To me, there wasn't really another guy who was pretty close. I think Derrick Henry runs for 1,500 yards, hopefully, or something like that, and he'll be the offensive player of the year in Baltimore. There's no doubt.
So I'm gonna go with Zay. I think we're all so high on him. I think he's gonna have 1,200, 1,300 yard season.
Whoa!
I'm a big believer in Zay. When you think about it. Like there's so many rookie receivers. They get over that 1,000-yard hump. They are really starting to make plays during the end of the year. I feel like those guys always just have an insane second-year season, and I see that coming from Zay Flowers. So I got Zay Flowers as my Ravens offensive player of the year. Ricky Adams agrees with you guys, Derrick Henry, and he says Kyle Hamilton defensive player of the year. So I'll just go ahead and say that's who I got. Is that who you guys have as well?
Yeah.
It is not for me.
Okay, so me and Dawson have Kyle Hamilton.
Kyle Hamilton is a Swiss Army knife. The dude's the best safety in the NFL. He's an absolute utility tool. I mean, you could put him at any position, and dude, he would succeed. I think Kyle Hamilton's easily the defensive player of the year for Baltimore. He's a do-it-all. There's not one thing he can't do.
All right, who you got, Zach?
I have the man who just got his bag this last offseason. The man who just changed his name, apparently. That's been in the news.
Let's go.
Justin Madubuike, or now Nnamdi
Madubuike
taking the defensive player of the year.
I love that he changed his name. I think that
is cool.
I think everyone should go by their real name.
I love that he's still a Baltimore Raven for the long term.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says, dude. The fact that we went out, inked Nnamdi Madubuike long term and got Derrick Henry, dude, that's a perfect offseason in my eyes. Madubuike is an absolute freak of nature, and you don't find interior defensive linemen who put that much pressure on quarterbacks and stuff in the pass rush unit. It's just unheard of. And yeah, dude, if he wins defensive player of the year, that'd be freaking awesome for us,
Cool. So now we're going to go into offensive rookie of the year for the Ravens. Not too many options. I'm gonna go with Roger Rosengarten. You guys
Correct.
agree
I
there?
agree. Yeah, there's
Yep.
not really much to talk about. We don't really
Sadly,
have any offensive rookies. The only one I could say you could even argue with would be Devontae Walker, but he's not really going to see a lot of snaps. And Roger Rosengarten should be our starting right tackle from day one. So I guess he's the only logical answer there.
And I mean, he's had a solid preseason. I think he could have a good year.
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure.
I think he could be a deserving Ravens offensive rookie of the year, even though he might be the only option.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna have I think he's gonna have a good year. So all three of us agree there. Defensive rookie of the year. I
We
mean,
might all agree again.
my
Yeah.
my defensive rookie of the year for the whole NFL was Nate Wiggins, so it's gonna be
Yeah.
the Ravens as well. Do you
TJ
guys
Tampa.
agree?
Yeah.
Hey man.
Yeah. I like this next and final one. This is the last little bit of the show, and I really like this designation
Yeah, this is
for
where we get to pull a bold one out of the
the
hat.
Ravens'
Yeah.
most improved player. Zach, I want to hear your designation first for the Baltimore Ravens.
Mine is
Most improved player of the season.
mine is as bold as it gets. Right? Mine is it's not very deep, but it's about as deep as you can go on the Ravens roster. I'm going edge Tavius Robinson for the most
Ooh.
improved player. I think we're going to need some edge help, and I think Tavius is going to be that guy this year. He's going to give Kyle Van Noy and Owe some help and provide, doesn't need to be a great year, just 5-6 plus sacks. That's all I'm asking for, and that's going to be a big improvement.
I would gladly take that. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that could be a very possible pick there. Dawson, I'm going to let you go first because I was kind of deciding between two guys, and I'll go ahead and pick the one that you didn't pick.
Ooh,
so let's see
okay.
who you have here.
All right, I'm about to go Mr. 2-3, the Clemson prodigy in Trenton Simpson. I think
Ooh.
Trenton Simpson this year is going to be an absolute dog in the defense next to Roquan. It sucks losing PQ, but I think the Ravens obviously knew this taking Trenton Simpson, what he was going to be eventually. And I think right from the get, dude, he's an absolute playmaker, and I think he's all over the field doing everything we can ask from him. And I kind of look at him kind of like a Swiss Army knife too. I think he's obviously going to play middle linebacker or inside linebacker with Roquan, but he's going to be all over the field, dude. You're going to see him doing everything, and I think Trent Simpson's going to have a huge year, and I don't think we're going to be even questioning losing Patrick Queen, come 14 games into the season.
Great picks, guys. I was deciding between two people, and I'm just going to say them both. I know I'm only supposed to pick one, but as my most improved player, my second option, I was going to go with Travis Jones. I think he can have a really, really solid year. Maybe turns into a great pass rusher as well alongside Matabike. I think he's built for success this season with Michael Pierce and Matabike next to him. Brent Urban also there. But my number one pick for most improved player, I'm not afraid to talk about it. I'm going to address it. Rashad Bateman is going to be the most improved player on the Ravens
I like it.
2024 team. He is going to have a great year. I'm just saying it. He's going to have a great year. He's going to be healthy. He was healthy in training camp. Rashad Bateman, we'll be looking at as bona fide wide receiver too, not just on the Ravens. He's going to be an NFL wide receiver too after this season.
Of all of our most improved player designations, I hope Brad is correct. I hope Brad's is right because, man, if Rashad Bateman can become a serious threat at receiver and stay healthy and be that guy next to Zay, dude, that would help us so much.
Awesome. So, hey, that's everything we had for you guys tonight. That's everything we had for you guys tonight. I think we ended it on a high note. Listen, there's going to be another episode tomorrow night. I don't know if you're listening to this on Monday or Tuesday, but Tuesday night, September 3rd, we won't be live unless something crazy happens, but we probably won't be live, but you'll get Ravens Chiefs preview episode Tuesday night, September 3rd, Bateman Revenge year. I agree with you, Flu. So do Dawson and Zach. We all agree with you. Any final thoughts, guys? Anything else?
No, not really. Just pumped up for Thursday, bro. I can't wait. Football is back, and we have a huge game for game one, dude. It's not like every other year where we're just starting off against a random team. We got opening night NFL, dude. They gave it to us, and we're going to Kansas City to get our revenge back. And I can't wait, dude. I'm pumped.
Football's back, baby. Come on.
Yes.
Come on.
Lucas, I appreciate that so much. That's honestly like a huge compliment.
Thank you.
He's a
Appreciate
dog.
you for saying that. I don't think I have too many thoughts. Final thoughts. I mean, we're going to be talking about Ravens Chiefs tomorrow night, so I don't want to get too much into that. But listen, I'm excited. Everyone's excited. We're less than 72 hours away now. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Season's about to kick off. Appreciate everyone for coming in tonight. I'm going to go ahead and shout out to people in the chat. Appreciate you guys for being here. Michael, thanks for being here. Devin Saunders, thanks for being here. Starmanian Devil, appreciate you. CNDN, Lucas McGraw, AP Productions, Greg Jones with that 9-8 Ravens record prediction. Thanks for
Greg.
being here, though.
Love you, Greg.
Chelsea Mitchell, thank you. Hunter, Ricky Adams, appreciate all you guys. Flew, thanks for being here. We'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
Please, thanks, guys, for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't.
Follow us on the gram, Lamar Season, Ravens HQ, Ravens News Daily. Follow us.
Yes, sir.
If you don't already, of course.
Yeah.
We
Follow
appreciate
the
you
ones that you don't follow. Where you can.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Appreciate you guys coming out. Flu, just one last schedule prediction, 10-7. But appreciate you being here, Flu. Appreciate everyone for being here. We'll see you guys later. Peace.